Feedback should be delivered as close as possible in time to the behavior, the event, the activity. And again, think about the why. If it's
Mm-hmm.
developmental feedback, someone is not performing up to standard, why would you delay that? Because during that delayed period, they will continue to perform at a suboptimal level. Even if it's positive reinforcement feedback, again, proximity is important. Because if you wait too long, the person might not even remember the incident, the activity for which you're providing the feedback. And again, both the developmental and the positive reinforcement feedback is about influencing future behavior. So the longer you delay it, the less impactful it will be because you have missed opportunity in the interim. Sometimes you're just not the right person to bring the message. However, when we're dealing with your direct reports, people for whom you have responsibility, they're in your chain of command, you absolutely are the right person to provide that feedback. It is your responsibility to provide that feedback. And it can be uncomfortable, so you might want to dodge it and you might want to say, okay, I'll wait for somebody else to have the conversation with them. No, that's an abdication of your responsibility as the supervisor or manager. I do not advocate or encourage anyone to give developmental feedback with an audience. That should be a private conversation because it's a vulnerable time and you don't want to expose or exploit anybody's vulnerability unnecessarily. So, in terms of the where it, also have it be someplace where you can seek to minimize the power distance. So, for example, and this is reinforces the bit about coaching because you want the environment to be supportive and not intimidating. So if you have one of these huge mahogany desks with a slab of glass on top of it, and you're sitting in a big high chair, and the person is across that desk for you in a little chair, it the whole
Yes,
setting is not
yes.
conducive to growth and development. When I was in corporate, a lot of times I would actually sit at the same side of the desk with persons when I was speaking to them,
Yes.
or sit around a round table, so that we sort of level, the power distance a
Yes.
bit, so it makes it more comfortable for them. Um, I don't like giving developmental feedback at the person's station
Mm-hmm.
because again, it can erode the confidence if they weren't expecting to find out that they're
Mm-hmm.
not performing up to scratch. And you don't want the physical space where they work all the time for them to associate that with a conversation that was uncomfortable.
So,
So if you have within your environment the ability to go to a neutral space to have the conversation, then of course that would be preferable.
I
But
know.
you have to work within the constraints. So
Yes.
you're telling me something about my personality. It's not going to cause me to run out and change it. If you give me feedback about my behavior, that's a different kettle of fish altogether. And context matters. And so, one of the things that I advocate when giving feedback and when soliciting feedback is to put it in context in terms of what the behavior is, what's the impact of the behavior, and in the organizational setting, if you can relate it to the organization's goals and objectives, that can be extremely helpful so that you understand why it's important for the behavior to change. I didn't come down on you, I didn't castigate you, I didn't talk about your personality,
Mm-hmm.
and it was solution oriented. How do we move forward to prevent this from happening?